Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com, here with a little bit of a video where might surprise you. This is a video where I think I'm going to eat my words and retract some of my opinions that I had in a previous video about Zendikar, Battle for Zendikar, and the lackluster that it is, and explain why I think I was wrong, but why I still think I can still maintain some of the position that I had beforehand about the rares and mythics being very lackluster, and the mechanics such as Awaken and Converge, and in this case, most of the landfall cards being quite lackluster. Now, I think that as most people, when the spoiler came out, I was laser focused on these cards, just the mythics and the rares. And I didn't even really focus on any of the uncommons and commons and try to judge a set based upon the rares and the mythics. Now, I am a person that likes to keep up with the financial impacts of Magic the Gathering, and usually that's rares and mythics. Commons and commons rarely, if ever, hold any value. And also, I am a very big in the constructed scene, and most of the times it's rares and mythics that really spice things up. But I think that this set is 100% backwards. The rares and mythics are, they're okay here and there. Some of them are very confusing, that why they're rare or why they're mythic. But oh wow, did I miss the mark when it comes to uncommons and commons. And that's why I'm going to retract what I said before. I'm going to apologize. I am going to take accountability here and say that my, had kind of foot and mouth, came to judgment before I gave this set the attention that it probably deserves. And now I'm actually starting to see this as more of a beautifully defined set when it comes to the commons and uncommons. I did say that the retreats were cool. I still maintain retreat is awesome. We've already started to find some combos with the retreats. But let's just look at some of like the devoid and ingest cards, and any of these cards. Like this set is just packed full of synergy. And it's this that I love. When I play Magic the Gathering, I love to like set up a board state, set up a turn 2, a turn 3, a turn 4, bait my opponent into playing something, outplay my opponent, have cards that work together in a synergistic fashion. And when you build a deck, you try to find those type of pieces. And same thing when I try to draft a synergistic deck. That's why in the past I've been very critical of cards like Siege Rhino or Thragtusk, because they're just too good by themselves. They don't need anything else to make the card shine. And they're just lazy cards. You just throw them in any decks that happen to use those colors. Now this set, especially the limited format, I think really is advantageous to the deck builder. And just right off the bat at the uncommon, so we've skipped over the rares. All the rares are kind of weak and uninteresting. And then there's cards like Carrier Thrall. Just a lot of these Eldrazi spawns, and sacrifice seems to be a big mechanic in this deck, and that fits perfectly with the Dragons of Tarkir sacrifice or exploit type strategy. And a lot of these, I am still a little bit bummed about Rally, but I think Rally's fine. But just so many of these cards have a lot of synergies together. So Carrier Thrall is really cool. We have a lot of these cards that die, put in Eldrazi spawn, or just put in an Eldrazi spawn, and then we have cards that deal with when cards go to the graveyard. Then you can scry or draw a card, and I think that that's pretty sweet. And one of the cards that I was very critical of Awaken, now I'm not as much critical of Awaken, just because of this one uncommon that exists in the set called the Halimar Tidecaller. This is Eternal Witness for Awaken, and I think there is some pretty good Awaken cards that have a lot of synergy with the Halimar Tidecaller. And I don't care that the land creatures you can draw flying, that's kind of just an uptick to it. But a 2/3 body on an Eternal Witness type card is pretty sweet. I really like this card. Then we have like there's even cards that are going to be strategies, hidden strategies that many people don't really, that might overlook at the first in like limited strategies, and one of those cards is Boiling Earth. I think if you're in red, you highly pick Boiling Earth, as Boiling Earth deals 1 damage to each creature opponent controls. This is going to see standard play for Hordeling Outbursts and Dragon Fodder type decks to kill off your opponent's all 1 damage to each creature opponent controls at 2. Scouring Sands sees some play right now, and unfortunately, I think Scouring Sands it does opponents as well. But this Boiling Earth is really cool to clear out Eldrazi spawns, to clear out Hordeling Outbursts or Dragon Fodders. We have a lot just at the common slot, just so many powerful commons with the reprints of Altars, Reap, and Bone Splitters to help sacrifice creatures. We have a Goblin Warpaint that I think will go in the mono-red Infection type deck. It might just actually be a bit better than Infectious Bloodlust. It's seen play before in Standard. I think goes great with that. And where it really shines, though, is where we get into kind of these Eldrazi's, these Devoid cards, and I just overlooked so much of the impact of what these cards can have in Standard. And there's a few cards that I really, really like with the Devoid mechanic that I think have a lot of modern playability. And the first of these is going to be like Molten Nursery at the uncommon slot. This is very powerful. You can put this in any sort of eggs type strategy. And there's Kozilek Sentinel and Nettle Drone that also work with this. We had a card called, there's a Goblin card, a 0/4 from Ravnica that was a pivotal piece in the format. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, you untapped it, and it dealt 1 damage to each opponent. So it's very, very, very similar to Nettle Drone. I actually do like the 3 toughness, or the 3 power on Nettle Drone, because you can easily attack with it and then untap it to do damage to each opponent. I think this is a beautifully designed card and fits well with all the Devoid type strategy, and also could have a modern combo. I was looking at like Heartless Summoning, but unfortunately Heartless Summoning kills this, because if you had Heartless Summoning combo with Nettle Drone and the Mirror Retriever, that's basically infinite damage to your opponent, because you play a Mirror Retriever. Remember, the colorless spells don't care if they're artifacts, they just care they're colorless, and it works on Devoid cards, and it works on any sort of Artificer, where like the Ethereum Sculptor, where you can reduce the cost of artifact spells. It just really works with these Devoid cards that get any sort of bonus by casting colorless spells. So I'm going to admit when I'm wrong. I think I was completely wrong about this set. Just go back to the uncommons and commons. That is where the gems lie in this set, and it's beautifully designed when you come to especially the Eldrazi's. It's focused on all these mythics will get you nowhere. They are still pretty lackluster in comparison to more powerful rares in the past, but come down here, Herald of Kozilek, Catacomb Sifter, both amazingly designed cards. Forerunner of the Slaughter, awesome, awesome. So I'm looking at these like Fathom Feeder and Brood Butcher, and then looking at Herald of Kozilek and Catacomb Sifter, I'm like, I think that these are more rare worthy than these two. I mean, this Fathom Feeder seems like it's like a commons or uncommon power level. A Death Touch, Ingest for 2 with an upside sort of at 5. You can start drawing card or draw a card and exiling. Yeah, and same thing with this Brood Butcher. It's just high casting costs, and then it's that's where I don't like the set, is where they came up with the rarity. But there's just definitely enough cards in this set at the common uncommon that I'm gonna definitely change my criticism or my critiquing of the set and say it's actually a pretty well designed set. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun at the pre-release and a lot of fun in limited or in sealed and draft formats, and have plenty of cards to brew around with in both modern and standard. I think it is going to be more of a support set, but we get so many cards. I mean, this is just, talk about Rally the Ancestors. It's hurting my mind how many cards are available in Rally the Ancestors type sack builds, or just plain sacrifice exploit type builds by themselves. You have all of the pieces to make an exploit type deck, and just continue to cycle through your deck. If you haven't seen my Chasm Skulker deck, the Grixis Chasm Skulker deck that I ran on Twitch, I always had cards in my hand because all the creatures that died drew me a card, and you just got so much value out of everything. So now I'm changing my verdict to not really looking forward to this set to extremely looking forward to the set. I hope that you guys will accept my apology, and I still don't like Converge. It's just not my cup of tea. Landfall still seemed very lazy. The rally mechanic was pretty lackluster compared to the last one. But overall, I think this set has enough juice in it to get someone like me excited. This has been Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.